All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coach's Show. Here we're at Bull's Restaurant on a Tuesday night, about 6 o'clock. Coach Podgett and myself are here to talk about last week's game. I know it was a tough loss at Gaucher, 54-27. I do apologize, I missed the game again, but we're going to take a little different format based on some information I got from the general public and a different way of getting the information out. First of all, Coach, Gaucher, I heard we're pretty big. Do you think we were outmanned or just a little intimidated or maybe just an off night?
I think, obviously credit goes to Gaucher. They're a heck of a football team. We knew that going into it. They had a tremendous amount of skilled players. We felt like their defense was, as good a defense as we would play. Certainly, short of, when you play Hattiesburg or something like that, might be the best skilled players on offense that we're going to face all season. They had a very good quarterback. A lot of team speed, and so you look at that, and they were definitely a great opponent facing them. I think for us, you watch the game, and we're right there with them. It's 14-14, and we're making plays, and right there about 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. We have some momentum swings where we're just. We let the momentum get out of our hands there, and then all of a sudden, it seems like the game gets separated, 14 points there, and, then it was just a fighting back process from that point on. But, we got to be able to capitalize and control the momentum of a football game, and not do things to hurt ourselves. And that's kind of the thoughts on the night.
Yeah, and it's tough at this age to get them to reevaluate, to start to fall down and to get back pumped up. It takes a little bit. All right, some of the stuff you had already mentioned, I was just going to ask you about the shortfalls we had Friday night offensively and defensively. But like you said, I think special teams put us in a couple bad spots, and the momentum swings would definitely answer it. All right, offensively, we'll start offensively. I'm going to go break it down each section of the offense, each core. I didn't get any stats this week, so I'll just ask you about each phase. First of all, I think 27 points in a high school football game should be good enough to win, or usually you would look at pretty good amount coming out.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about running game. You have usually Johnny Pham and Tyree Peters. What do you think this week, how'd they work out?
I think the running game was slowed down a little bit this week. Johnny goes up, he comes up with an ankle injury in the middle of the game, kind of gets shook up there. We got some guys that go in, and Tyree's doing a great job, Johnny's doing a great job. There's a lot of things with that running game. You're going against, I think we said it 2 weeks ago on the show, they're one of the best linebackers in the state, and so it was a tough deal, getting some things going in the run game there, and, offensively, we missed some throws, we're high on throws a lot the whole night. And we get control of those, and we're making some plays there. But no, 28 points or 27 points or whatever. That's a lot on the night. But in today's football, heck, you really need to be hitting around the 35 mark is your lucky number, And, so that's kind of the thing.
All right, staying on that, what about offensive line play? They've been pretty solid all year.
Yeah, sure.
They're opening holes this week, maybe a little bit tougher because of, like we said, tough defense, linebacker core that's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
But they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think, the O-line, they were steady. I wouldn't say it was our best performance, but, it was a good performance. I think that, we got to do a better job of kind of taking the fight to them, at times. And, and that's something that as these weeks go on, this district, it's a tough football the rest of the way out, and so, we've got to establish the line of scrimmage on offense and defense, and we've done a good job of that so far this season, and we're going to continue to improve on it. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure with Johnny getting hurt somewhat in the middle of the game, just because him and Tyree always switch on and off, the wind of Tyree, the different style of running, always those plays a pretty big defense.
Right, yep.
All right, let's move to the passing game. You mentioned a couple of throws that we had a little high and out. How Geist maybe not as sharp as usual as from what I hear, but again, not bad, 27. What can you say about the passing game?
I think we left a lot of plays on the field. receivers were kind of getting pressed up this week, which, you know, we work it, and they've seen it this season. You know, their corners were doing, you know, a good job of, you know, not letting those receivers separate from them from when they were jamming, you know, and, you know, that's going to happen. You know, are they holding them as they're trying to separate? I don't know. It was good enough that they're, you know, it was hidden enough the refs aren't going to call that. You're not going to get that call. You know, a well-trained DB, you know, knows how to kind of, you know, use some things to his advantage, but we got to be able to get off that press. But, you know, at the end of the night, the receivers are there. They are open at times, and we missed them. You know, we missed them several times on the night, and, you know, we had our shots to make plays, and you know, we got to make those in those big games.
Yeah, like I said, no stats. Many sacks, guys get knocked down a lot, or I just heard he was looked like quick to release.
No, you know, I mean, you know, he's got a quick release, so sacks are usually not the problem with him. You know, I think it was just, you know, I don't know if the big game, district game, you know, what have you. You know, I don't know. I can't speak for him.
Right.
You know, I think that. You know, as far as protection and time to throw, that wasn't the issue. You know, I just think sometimes, you know, it's like a pitcher in baseball. You know, sometimes, you know, their fastball's on, sometimes it's not. Right. You know, and at QB, that can happen.
And like you said, the jamming throws off a little timing,
and
the rhythm. You don't get on a rhythm, then you know, kind of tough night. And I can't point out more than, you know, you think these kids are good because it's just a high school football game, but you don't understand that it's they're nervous out there.
Yeah.
You know, big district, first district game, it heightens it up a little bit. I could see some jitters there. We mentioned that the receivers a little bit getting jammed, and in my eyes, I think they're the best, most athletic people on our team.
Right.
Elijah, Gervais, Dalton, Dan, Kobe, and if they're having trouble getting off, you know, that's kind of me. A little surprising for their athletes, but then again, I could see, you know, it could happen to anybody at any time.
Right.
You were saying when we did get separation, we maybe missed them. You know, do you think we were on the right spot? We were doing everything right on that way, on the aspect. As far as receivers go, you know, like I said, usually there are weapons. If they're going to shut down, it's tough for us. You know.
Yeah. You know, no, I think, you know, as we just continue to go and work on it, you know, you're going to have off nights in the passing game. You're going to have off nights in the running game, you know. And to me, collectively, you know, I think we played very good football for a good portion of that game. You know, it was, to me, the issue's more not necessarily an execution thing. It's a momentum thing, and it's a handling emotions thing. And, you know, that's something that, you know, we got to continue to grow.
The highs and lows.
The highs and lows.
You got to settle in the middle.
And, you know, never be too high, never be too low, you know. So just be right where we got to be.
Finishing up on the offensive end, what do you think? I mean, we already talked about you even learn from a loss, so it's not really a loss. You learn from it, or you win. You know, it's always something you can gain. Coming out of that game, what do you think that the team has gained from that, or you know, their eyes maybe have been open to that? Maybe a little bit of physicality or something we were talking about earlier.
Well, you know, stepping into district play, you know, we know what's ahead of us. You know, and I think that, you know, you look. I mean, Goshen's the best team we played this season. You know, and you know, the speed of the game was that much faster. You know, the execution was that much better and clear. You know, and that's the deal. You know, the bar's raised now. You know, and having her answer the bell, and we did. You know, we answered it for most of the night, but we're still just, you know, at key moments, we're defeating ourselves, you know, and whether it be a turnover, whether it be a penalty, whether, you know, hey, we stop them on defense, and then big play, you know.
We're going to get into that, Coach.
You know, so, you know, and then, like, you know, we got to clean those things up. We got to quit beating ourselves and understanding that those little things, and that's what we preach to them all week in practice. We've been preaching it to them for a long time, you know, and eventually that light bulb's got to go off, and we got to figure it out.
And we talk about how district play is the only thing that matters. That's for everybody in district does. So, like, when we're trying to raise our game, everybody else is raising theirs as well. You know, they're not going to see the same thing. All right, let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball. First of all, giving up 54, I know that's never a good thing. But then again, there's other situations that play into a score. You know, defense gets credit, or I shouldn't say gets negated because of the score, but special teams put us in bad situations a couple of times, some here and there, which doesn't show there. Maybe turnovers that could happen. again, I think we've said this every week, and you mentioned it already a couple times this week. We hold them, big play.
Yeah.
Hold them, big play.
Right.
It's almost like one little lapse of confidence or emotion, and they give up the play. If we could knock those out, it's a different ball game. So I think that just seems to go on.
Right.
All right, let's talk D-line. We always talk about the D-line, how strong they are, who stopped the run a couple times. We got Jaron Evans, we got Andrew, whoever we got out there.
Right.
We got a bunch of people. What do you think this week? How did we stop the run enough for you to be satisfied with? Did we get penetration on the quarterback? Were we there, or were we just kind of...
Right. No, well, when we studied them, the thing that they had hit everybody on that they played was the jet sweep. They were really using their speed to get around the edges. And, here's the thing. We took it away, and 2 touchdowns on defense during the night is, they're running such a complex offense with unbalanced and, they're tackle over and they're doing a lot of trick plays and stuff. So the defense has a lot of checks that they have to make. And when the front of the defense, the front 7, the outside backers, the D-line and the linebackers, they're doing one thing and the secondary is doing another. Well, they had their things that they're looking at within the game. They're looking at formations of the offense. We've studied percentages. We know, hey, this play's coming out of this formation. Well, what happened to us on 2 separate plays is, we see the formation and we miscall it. We've got the defensive line slanting this way, and then we roll the coverage the exact same way, which that can never happen. You got to have the front going one way and the coverage going the other, to complement each other. Well, we get going both the same ways, and we're seeing on the sideline, we're trying to scream, fix it, ball snapped, and sure enough, just our luck, they happen to call the reverse right backside to where we aren't. We don't have enough people, and it's we were beat before the snap, just off of an alignment thing. And it got us again on another play, similar situation, and we're talking to the defense, and they had their keys. They go to an unbalanced front, and our linebackers, they just missed it. They missed it. They missed seeing that it was they'd gone a tackle over and plussed a guy to that side, and we got to get the D-line moved, and they did it all night. Well, the one play they don't, Gaucher's a good enough team, they hit us on it. We're a guy down, and as soon as they got to silent, Coach, we knew it. We saw it, we missed it,
Yeah, and let me ask you, that one time did they come out, did they do a motion that will go offset, or they come out of the huddle offset?
Well,
a lot of times
they'll do both,
pick it up coming out of the huddle.
They'll
catch it with the motion, the linebackers.
Well, the thing, and we worked it all week in practice. They'd come from a huddle, then they'd sprint to the line, and they're going to sprint to the line in whatever look they're going to do. Well, we worked that and we mimicked it all week, and our kids really practiced fast and made those decisions quick. But you're talking about some high level thought process going on, for some high school kids that under the lights and pressure moment, and you talk about how many times they got the decision right. That's what I want to focus on. We're out there. Defense plays 80 snaps. And, on defense, heck,
74 of them
74 of them, we got them right, and made the hard, complex decision. But when you're playing great teams and 6 plays you line up wrong,
they're the ones that
they're good enough to make
the same thing on our end. We should take advantage of those mistakes. I talk about it in softball. When they throw one down the middle, you got to hit it. That's a mistake. Let's go. I'm going to change up a little bit. What do you think about the kids nowadays and their knowledge of the game? Like you talk about, because I find a lot of them, they don't know the ins and outs as much as maybe someone that I feel like back in the past, because they do so much video games, or they're not really a student of the game. And I was just wondering, if, by your opinion, and there may be some that you get that are I call them highly IQ for the game, than others that really don't know. And it's tough.
I think there's 2 sides of the coin. I think that you look at it, and I think with the youth that you're seeing, there is more distractions, for younger kids these days coming up that whereas maybe you and I are younger, it's hey, we didn't, we didn't
have
the advance, so we're going to go outside and play football. And I think what it is more the skill development. Back in the day when you're outside playing all the time, you're developing these hand-eye coordinating skills, how to play a ball, how to catch a ball, how to hold a ball, how to tackle, things like that, which maybe are lacking in youth football. But on the flip side of it, the game is so much more advanced.
Yeah.
It's so much. I mean, even than when I played, however many years it's been now, it's getting longer and longer away. But you look at what these kids are like. These offenses are,
and it's trickled down. You notice it goes.
Yeah.
Pros change week to week, and then the college change, and it's trickling down quick.
You think about Coach Brady and I know he won't mind me saying this. He comes up to me at the end of the game and says, "Coach, I apologize. Today's football, 28 points isn't enough. It's just not. With what offenses are able to do with high tempo and all that, I mean, you've got to be able to match that and score points, And defensively, my number's always been the 28-35. I want to hold them to under that, and we got to score over that, and we'll be happier more than we're sad, and things like that. And but it just, there's so many things. I mean, you're talking in the Gaucher game, we defended wing tee. We defended spread offense. We defended empty. We defended quads. We defended 5 receivers to a side. They threw the entire gambit at our kids. And our high school kids have to take this. This is stuff you turn on Sundays and you're watching NFL football. And then they're running the same offenses. That knowledge has been shared all the way down to high school football, nowadays. And you're just seeing very complex things that require a lot of defensive discipline, to execute the calls against.
And this is coming from a kid that goes to school till 1:40.
Oh, yeah.
These aren't pros that are off all day long. They're college kids
to
that are off
most film for hours
and
after
they have
hours.
their books in it. On the same thing, I don't know, you may not know the answer. Gaucher, are they senior or junior heavy, or are they younger?
Yeah, I mean, you look at their star players. I think they're senior heavy. This is a year. Gaucher last year, we walked off the field and I knew they were a very, very good football team. Year in and year out, they're going to be one of the most talented teams on the coast.
A big pool to draw from.
You're right. Yeah. And I'm a tremendous fan of their head coach. I think he runs a great program. He's a friend of mine. He and I were sharing words at the end of the game, and stuff, and very encouraging to us and where we're at in Long Beach and what we're doing. He said, "Hey, I see it. I see the growth. I see, it's like keep on,
Yeah, the record doesn't show everything.
And I mean, heck, and we'll talk about East Central in a little bit here. And there's so many good positive things. We're not getting the scoreboard showing it right now.
Right.
And you look at the game, and if you're sitting at the game, we're in these ball games, and then it's just something right there that's not letting us finish. And what is it? Every week it's something different, but to me it always comes back to handling emotions in big time moments, right, and focusing in on little details. And that's stuff that we've got to just continue. You got to just continue to bang at it until all of a sudden one day
it clicks.
They get it.
Yeah.
So
and it's hard. It's hard for a young kid, to control, especially at that.
Right.
And the reason why I brought that up because I know we have so many new players. Now I wouldn't say new as far as freshmen, but new players into the start line, varsity players. And there's a vast difference between a JV game and a varsity game. Complexity, work ethic, knowledge of the game.
I want to take a moment here to sidebar. Congratulations to our JV football team last night. Went to Pass Christian, our rival. Pulled out a win for the JV. Big time win right there for our JV football team.
Awesome. So, good job, fellas. So like I said, when they're in there, again, to go back, when they're in there for the first time of the year, they're getting all these new things thrown at them. It's a difficult step. That's a big jump. Okay. So defensively, it sounds like pretty good. Defensive backs, we had a couple of miscues. Seems to be every time, like you already said, it's the one play here, the one play there, mindset. And I know you preach it. We're preaching that constantly. I know I even do it mine. It's always the same thing. Come on, get your heads right. Don't get so high. Don't get so. If you're going to show the low emotion, I'd like to see the high emotion too. Get pumped up when you make a big hit. Pick your teammates up. So hopefully, like I said, with that improvement, we'll go on. Complexity is a different story. It's not like you got ample weeks to practice because you couldn't look at like you got East Central coming up. We can't plan for East Central before Gaucher.
Right.
Every week we're planning for somebody new. And they're all, as I've said before, this is probably the toughest district.
No doubt.
Definitely in 5A.
No doubt.
If not, Mississippi is on top of that because we got some schools coming up that are pretty substantial. All right, let's turn it over to this. I know the year hasn't probably gone exactly the way you wanted.
Right.
You know, the record is one thing. I see some improvements on the field. I see some things that we do there are good. So I know being a coach that a lot of people just look at the record or the scoreboard. With the interchangeable parts that you have that we talked about in various times, let's throw out some players, get some players some props. Well, who do you think maybe just played an outstanding game Friday night?
Sure.
You know, looked at film. You may not, someone says, oh, I played great. And they're like, no, you lost 54-27, but that doesn't mean he didn't do a good job. Let's give them some props and say, they were there. They did what they needed to do.
I think one of the guys that just week in and week out is playing phenomenal, J.R. McFarland. He's a kid that last year played as a sophomore. He played as a freshman even a little bit the year before that. But last year we said, hey, he had a lot of missed tackles his sophomore year. He was there to make the play, didn't make the play as a sophomore. Now you're seeing it junior year. I mean, he's an elite football player, and he is making the play all the time.
And that's not one we mention often, but he's doing it right there. Yeah. And I have a funny story about JR.
There you go.
All right, this is telling you about season. When you get another year under your belt, you get a little bit. I think it was last year maybe when he had a big sack.
Right.
And he jumped up and down. He's saying, and the ball's rolling on the ground.
Right.
So I pick on JR all the time. Jump on the ball.
Yeah, no doubt.
But like you talk about now, this year it's even bigger, and you expect more of him. And hopefully you'll see that. All right.
Well, I'll
keep
tell
going.
you. And obviously, my mind's always, defense. Cameron Matthews, had a great game, playing off the edge, made a tremendous amount of plays. Tackling that jet sweep, getting after the quarterback, creating some problems. Jaron Evans had another great night. I think he got the Defense Player of the Game award. And he's one of the. So there you go. There's 3 weeks on defense this season that all 3 D linemen have taken home separately. Player of the Game awards. So
let's talk about that too. How do you judge that? Is this something right after the game you judge, or is it day after or Monday?
We get in as a staff and we watch the film, and then to be honest, we bring the players in as well, and they watch the film, and it's kind of a collective effort. Staff vote and then player vote, and we come up with it, and we share it with the team every week. We do an unsung hero, which is kind of like our it could be a practice player of the week, scout team guy, or just hey,
recognize
somebody that does
work.
something, that maybe doesn't get the spotlight. Then we do usually an offense player, defense player. We do a coach of the week even.
How many times you got in that one, Coach?
No, it never goes to me. I'm not in the running for it. I'm never in the running. Offensively speaking, a lot of good players. Kobe Cook, man. Kobe is having quietly a great season. I mean, he, for whatever reason, he doesn't get the newspaper headlines, but you look at it, when we need an electric play, it's Kobe Cook. Dalton Cook, had a much better game last Friday night, and it's tough with those receivers because you can't target them all. You can't get their touches. You need them to. D'Elijah always make a play. I mean, you could. There's not enough words you can say on the plays he's made this season. In the O-line, like we talk about every week, just great performances, So,
I think as a public, we would just to know when it was given, how it was given is a good point. Because they hear who it is and they're like, well, that's just coach. It's not just coach.
No,
it's the entire team that's playing. It's it's not a popularity contest. It's not who you like because they show up every. It's based on that. All right. So right now, I guess we'll take a halftime break. We'll come back. We'll let Coach eat some dinner. We just got back, and we'll join you back in a minute.
All right.
Thanks again from Bulls. We'd like to thank Bulls Restaurant in downtown Long Beach for hosting the Bearcat Coaches Show every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. Bulls Restaurant, downtown Long Beach. All right, welcome back to Bulls Restaurant. Again, Coach Poggett and myself. We're going to start the second half of the show before we get to the film about a little bit of the coaching philosophies that Coach Poggett has. And I'll throw some of my own opinions in there because that's just what I do. All right, Coach, we're going to start off by how do you think the team is as far as commitment to the team and to getting themselves better? So you still feel they're still fully committed?
Yeah, we've got great kids. I think everyone within the walls of our program knows where this thing's headed. They know that, you know, it takes time, and obviously we want the wins and we want the glory, you know, but we know that the grind has to come before that, getting that glory moments. And you know, you look at the kids showing up every day at practice, doing the right things. They're excited to be there. You know, there was at practice today, great energy at practice. You know, they're excited for the challenge, East Central. You know, our kids know the challenges and the mountain that we have to climb, and they know that we are making those strides. And you know, it's a joy to coach them. It's a joy to coach kids like that. That, you know, when the rest of the world says you need to fold, they put the blinders on, they put the earphones in, and they go to work, because they know the mission we're on, and you know, and they know that we are getting better, and they know that we are growing, and you know, the rest of the world's going to judge your scoreboard, but within the walls of the program, we know exactly where we are and where we're heading. So,
and that's a big thing as far as internal. You can't really control anything that's been outside. And you know, everybody's out there. Even if you're undefeated, you'd have some negative person out there talking about something.
Yeah.
You just hope that contained inside the walls, and everyone's on the same belief. And like I said, I think they pretty much are. On the same thing, what do you, let's say, kid, your accountability wise, and I know you're big on accountability for a lot of people, and there's different things. I have rules in softball, and you have rules, and accountability for, let's say, missing practice or missing an assignment in the game, quick to sub, or what's the penalty, and if so, I mean, as long as people know the penalty, they know the consequence.
You
know, because I have things. You miss a practice, you do such and such. If they do that such and such, they're clean slate. You can't double jeopardize. You know what I'm saying? So what do you have?
You know, what we do, so for practice misses, what we do when we tell them, look, you know, things come up. I mean, we've had some kids, you know, miss for family reasons.
That most people don't know
stuff
about.
Like that, you know, and you're not going to broadcast that to your football team, you know. You know, what you try to reassure them is, hey, look, guys, you know, I've been in, you know, first off, they have to be in communication with the coaching staff. You know, we have to know where they're at. You know,
prior to the fact.
You know, we can't be looking for you. You know, and that's when the issue comes in. If I'm having to look for you, you and I, you know, we've got some issues there. As long as you've communicated with me, look, you know, these are high school kids. A lot of them don't have their own vehicles, things like that.
And if mom and dad says we're going to do this,
need them to be somewhere, they need to be there. You know, and we understand that. We try to work with it. What we do is, if you miss a practice, you're going to make up a conditioning for that missed practice. And we say, look, we tell them it's not a punishment. You know, you think about it, the running that they would have done within, you know, the scheduled practice time is a ton. You know, and so what we do, you know, we assign them with a coach, and we say, you know, hey, we're going to get out of you, you know, an equivalent to, you know, a practice workload on you from a conditioning standpoint. You know, and once they do that, hey, we're square. You know, and so that's kind of what we got there. You know, we keep track of it, and you know, it's tough. You know, and if a kid gets sick, hey, we need a doctor's note. You know, we need communication, and you know, we're not gonna. You got sick, and your doctor's note. We're not gonna run you for that. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's more of those things where, hey, I can't be here today. I got to do this, or you know, whatever. You know, that's the stuff where we're going to get those. You know, you can't control a kid coming out with an illness.
All right, so, and again, the communication beforehand is big. I get the same thing. Tell me when you know. I'm probably not going to be happy either way. But if you tell me beforehand instead of after, because after it's an excuse as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you know, and everything you're doing, you know, and we try to preach these to these kids, and so, you know, most of them get it and some of them don't, you know, but this is not, we're not on this football team strictly to win football games. We're committed to this football team. We want to be a part of this program so that we learn how to become, you know, productive members of our society, so that we can make Long Beach a better place when it's our turn to be adults, to be fathers, to be husbands. You know, we want to learn how to have a job and to be, you know, a lot of these kids, this is their first glimpse into what a work life is going to be like.
Responsibilities,
notifying. There's a lot of times, you might be the only, and I'm not speaking in Long Beach, I'm speaking in general. You might be the only one telling the kid no or holding him account, and things like that. And that's what's so great about the game of football. I saw something on, like one of those online deals where it talked about football is one of the last places left in the earth that we don't try to make it easy on people. And that's why the game's so pure and such a great tool for young men, trying to fight through these trying times of your teenage years. So
yeah, it's like any team sport. I even say the same thing. To learn that hard work will replace anything.
Right.
It doesn't matter how bad it is or how bad it seems.
Right.
Hard work can get you out of that.
Right.
The other thing is to being able to work with somebody.
Right.
I mean, I know I even in my profession, I got to work with a lot of people that I may not even be best friends with.
Right.
I may not even have the same views with.
Well,
but if they're higher on the ladder, guess what? I got to say yes and work with it. And
well, you hear so much with youth today. You hear, I don't want to do it, so I'm going to shut down and not do it. Well, we talk all the time. Hey, look, there's moments every day in every adult's life at work. I got to do something I don't want to do, and you got to do it because it's for the greater good, and you grit your, you
or
just
face the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do, and it's you got to understand why you're doing it, and you got to have a great attitude about doing it. And if it's not something you want to do, okay, hurry up, get it over with, do a great job at it, and then it's off your plate.
And because we both know that very limited percentage of kids are going to make the NFL.
Right.
They're not going to make a profession at football.
Yeah.
Maybe coaching or something like that. But it's about the team building and the hard work, working with other people. All right. I know in Long Beach, or I feel in Long Beach, again, this is my opinion, that the talent pool, boys or girls, the athletic talent pool, the higher echelon of kids, say blue chippers or whatever you want to call them, is limited. So like maybe your second string, it doesn't have the talent right now, being the younger, that to replace their people. Do you feel that you have an ample source to pick from, or what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say anything derogatory, but there's a lot of people that think, they hold people a standard way up here, when in reality it's not that true.
Right. For me, it's more a numbers thing, than it is. I mean, I'd still every time we take the field, I'll take my 11 over their 11. I wouldn't. I tell them all the time, I wouldn't trade you for anybody. We don't have many of us, but we got what we need and we got what we want. And we're not We're not going to be able to. There's nobody moving in. There's no recruit coming. We can't get the waiver wires and the we can't like the NFL and whatnot. I mean, we got who we got. And that's part of the great thing of being a high school football coach. It's when you do overcome, those things, and you do overcome that adversity and not having, maybe the talent of who you're playing every week or the numbers of who you're playing every week, but you can still find a way to make it click anyway, there's no greater feeling.
And that goes back to a couple weeks ago when we talked about team chemistry.
Right.
They have to, almost sometimes, I don't know, maybe your team, I know my team, I believe they're better than they even believe.
Right.
And to me, they once they start to click that and they gel, they can be dynamic, so it's a tough spot to be. All right, well, lastly, with our elite players, last football question, Coach, before we get into East Central, which we know is a short part of the show.
Right.
Okay, have you ever thought about using the elite players on both sides? I know it's tough sometimes on a kid.
We actually are. It's we've got every single kid on our football team, and that was something that we did this year. We installed it this year. Every player on offense has to learn a defensive position and vice versa. You've seen. Andrew McMillan. For one. Division I commit to South Alabama. He's played a lot of defensive line this season. We tell him that you have your primary position and you have your secondary position. And we're fortunate, we feel like as a coaching staff, we're fortunate to have 22 bodies that are the best player at their position. But the issue we ran into last year was, very seldom in a football season do you make it the whole year without an injury or a kid gets tired and needs a breather. You saw D'Elijah went in at safety the other night. We're playing guys all over. We've worked, this week you'll see Dalton Cook play a little linebacker, and things like that. We're going to win the game, and we're going to throw as many bodies as we need to get in there and do it. We do feel like we've got the best 11 on offense playing, and we do feel like the 11 playing on defense are better than their counterpart on offense. So we do feel a true 22 great starters. It's just, hey,
a breather here and there. You want to stick someone in there.
Instead of maybe where, in the past, your starter comes out on defense and his backup might be a ninth grader who's going to be a great player but not there yet. Right. Now, okay, your backup is the offensive kid, who's a starter on offense coming in. Right, so, that is kind of our program philosophy.
And I don't, I'm just speaking on generality here that I wish that the lower level football leagues, the rec league and things like that, would do more rotation.
Right.
Because I know in softball, you got a girl that in the rec league at that age may be dynamic. But by the time she gets into high school, they're not the same player, and someone else is. But they don't know the game because they've always been stuck in one spot.
Right.
I think there's so much more in the I say rec league, but in the lower divisions that they just want to win. They want to win and want to win, and they're limited to the kids' knowledge of the game. I wish they would rotate a little bit more. I think that would just benefit the kid and everybody else. All right, here we go, Coach. The shortest part of the show. East Central next week.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell us?
Oh, all right.
Well, it's East Central. All right, that's enough.
There's going to be a game. We're going to play it. And there you go. That's your scout report. We're excited for the challenge. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I told the kids when we walked off the field last season, the big thing was we got to be tough enough to play with these football teams. And we were very public with our off-season training and the growth that we've made in the weight room and the physicality but the problem is toughness is not just a physical thing. Toughness is a mental thing, and we're still overcoming that, in my opinion. We still got some growth to do in the mental toughness. Physically, I'm ready to see where we're at and how we've closed the space. And this is what a better challenge than East Central, one of the best football teams in the state.
And I think we got a lot of really competitive kids on the football team.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more competitive than to hear that you're never going to win, you're never going to win, you're never going to win, and then win.
Oh yeah.
There's no better. It's like I say, you go to their home, go to their high school, and take prom queen.
Right. Yeah.
The people get mad at you, but you know what? That's fine and dandy.
we talk all the time as a team. You hear it between the players talking, the coaches talking to the players talking to the coach. You just hear it that we all know. We're climbing and we're close to clicking, and we're close to you heard the players, the other week on the show talking about, man, we're right there. We're so close. We just have little things setting us back still, and we want this thing to finally click so bad. We can taste it, and and look, we got no negativity going on. No we don't allow it. We're positive speak, and we're going to speak it into existence. And that's the thing with us. We know how close we are to clicking, and I think what an awesome opportunity in front of our home crowd to show them, hey, look, there's no trick. East Central's not going to trick you with what they're doing. Yeah. They're going to put their hand down in the dirt and they're going to come get it. And we're going to either accept the challenge or
we're going to go get it. Or
not,
we're going to get it.
So, and I think that I think it's a great chance for us to just show that, hey, we're here, we're Long Beach, and we're a competitor. And we know we got a great team. I talked with East Central's head coach, and he sent me a text and he said, Coach, he's like, wow. He said, man, you got a great football team here, and they're on the right track, and people are, going and teams you're playing, Gaucher's head coach said it. They're seeing. Long Beach isn't a pushover now. We're going to make you compete, and you're going to have to earn it. What we've got to do is we got to quit beating ourselves.
Right.
We're right there in these ball games, and we're closing the gap. But man, we're still
let them beat us, not beat ourselves.
Exactly.
Play that right game.
you see us, I mean, right there, going toe to toe with these folks, and but heck, we punt a ball for 7 yards, or we miss a field goal,
and that's that momentum swing, and it
like
brings them down.
Yeah,
and that's bigger than you know.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, right now we're gonna check out a couple highlights from last Friday's game before we end the show, and it looks like we got it going pretty good this week. We're gonna see how this works out. We get better and better every week.
Oh yeah, getting smoother.
Oh.
All right, so right here's a clip of the defense. They're running their end-around play right here. All right, so what we're doing right here, we're slanting to the field. You see them trying to run that reverse. Here comes the
kid jumping in the back, throwing a decoy. I mean, that's high level right there.
Oh yeah. And what they're taught right here. Okay. Reading these guards, you see D'Allen right here. He's not falling for it. He sees the play coming back. He's not falling for the motion. They're getting Marcus. We've been working on Marcus's eye discipline. Okay, let me see. I lost the play here. All right. Well, we've been working on his eye discipline. He's new to us, but he's got to read this guard right here and know that he's got to come back. So we should actually be getting back to the play. You look at Jaron Evans, tremendous job. He's taught spill this kicker. This guy's trying to kick him out on that block right here. And he's got to he's got to sacrifice himself and make that ball happen over top of him. And you look, he does such a great job. He smashes that lead blocker right into the ball carrier, and then he makes the play himself. I mean, that's
and you had containment on the other side. That was a good defense.
You look right there, and look what Jaron's doing right here. This is all Friday night. And that's what we told him. You're about to have 100 plays of that same physical violence.
Hit them before they hit you.
Yep. So awesome. Good play there.
They mentioned Gaucher's new stadium. That's pretty impressive right there.
Oh yeah, wonderful facility.
Dr. Smith, like that check, boy.
Coach Zink said that. All right. So here we go. It's right here. We're a little trickeration for us. You see, we fake the handoff. Here's a guy with a little Statue of Liberty. He hands the ball off. There's Elijah, who we all know can throw the ball. Coming around the edge, trick play. Big time completion. Wish the camera would have caught it. Big time play for us.
Nice. Coach Brady opening up the playbook a little bit.
Oh yeah. The thing with those trick plays, and you're only going to run them once a game and things like that. But man, it gets the kids excited in practice. We may or may not have run one today, in practice, and we had, immediately the energy hits and everybody's excited and things like that.
Gaucher's quarterback a senior?
Junior? I can't remember.
When he turns his whole back on, that shows you a little season.
I actually think he's a young one.
Really?
I think he's young.
That's pretty.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he's pretty young.
He's either real confident in his offensive line or he's got a good fake,
So right here again, and this is that wing tee kind of trickeration. All right, great job by the Mike linebackers. They're reading these guards. So all of this is smoke and mirrors in wing tee football. If we tell them, the running backs are your girlfriends and the offensive linemen's your mama. Who's going to lie to you? That's what we tell them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so that's a good one. Yeah.
And when you tell them that, they hey, I'm looking at the O line. They're going to tell you where the play's going.
Yep.
So you look right here. Here's the offensive lineman. They're staring at that. They're running with it. And here it comes around. And there's Cameron Matthews. We talked about him having a great night. He beats that block, gets vertical. And look, I'm telling you, nobody has stopped Gaucher on this stuff all season. And here we come. I mean, that big time play,
Yep. Oh, there you go.
Get the interception, Julius Wells. We're sending, here we go. We're blitzing. Got the blitz called. We know it's pass. And what had happened here, Gaucher had actually called a timeout. And they kind of showed the play that they were running or where they were thinking, prior to the play. And, of course, off a film study, we knew if you just look at where they're at on the field, they've stuck all their receivers into a limited space to try to create the extra space to the field. And, they're trying to get this one-on-one matchup here with Julius and him. And, we're seeing it and we've studied it and we knew it was coming all week. And so there it comes. And Julius is reading it. You can see him right there. He jumps the slant route.
Yeah.
We picked the ball off. Wish he'd have taken this to the house. He almost does.
Well, it's nice that he knew the blitz was on because he didn't backpedal. You know, he knows it's going to be a quick throw, so he can come and beat. Yeah, it's a nice play.
You know, we read the play, and look, all that comes down to preparation. You know, and that's what we're trying to tell these kids. You know, use what we're giving you. Use what you've seen on film to your advantage, and it makes you a player.
No reason to be scared if you're prepared.
Right. It's a good one. I like that one. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a big time play right there. Coach Brady buttering me up again. A lot of defensive plays. I'll tell you what.
Coach, you're not getting no raise. It ain't happening in Long Beach, bud. Good. Nice containment. Who's that out there? Cameron
Matthews. Yep. Cameron and JR, two guys we, acknowledged for how they're playing.
Linebackers come up. Yep. Very good.
All right, here we go. Here's some offense. That's what sells the tickets, Coach Brady. Right here, motioning around, trying to get Elijah matched up. We know they're in man coverage. Okay, so right here they're trying to adjust out. Okay, we're going to run them out of the way, open it up. Good ball got by Geis. Elijah makes a play, big touchdown right there.
They didn't even look like they rolled anybody with them. Maybe it was off the screen.
Well, I'm thinking their safety was who's trying to come adjust. They're trying to catch him right there. And we knew that off of film. So we knew as long as we could get the ball in right there, we'd have the window of time,
Yep.
So. Play cut us off. So I can probably get it from the other angle. All right, let's check
Kobe Cook right there.
I can get it from the other camera angle, I hope.
Friday night's pink out, so make sure you got your pink on, or I think it's a blackout, really, isn't it, Coach? I think the pink shirts are black this year, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yep, here you go. Get it better from this angle. So right here, I believe that's Gervais Foxworth. Yep. We're running them out, run them out of there and kind of replace them. You can see right here, we're opening this throwing window. We got a vertical route working up the seam, and then we're going to, we know that they're running us in man, so we're going to run that man out of there, and we're going to win to the inside right here. You look at all this space for guys to throw the ball in. That stuff, that the route creates that space.
Yeah. And Gervais turning back this way is pretty nice.
Getting back to the sideline.
Nice block.
Yeah. Let it run at real speed.
Yeah, who's that? Tyree or Kobe down there? I think it's Kobe.
I think it's
Elijah. Elijah comes back, puts a nice block on.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't catch it. Does all the intangibles.
Yeah.
Took out two kids.
And that's great. Great block coming back by Elijah. Clean block.
Yeah. Head in front.
You worry about those sometimes. That's clean block. And here we are.
Still running downfield looking for more.
Looking for work. Instead of just being, we tell them don't be a spectator. Get involved in the play. You never know how you could help it. Big time player right there.
There you go, Elijah. If you're gonna watch, pay $5 to get in.
Yep. Here, we'll click back just to the one angle. Okay, so right here, we get a little unbalanced look on offense. We want to shift them over. Okay, we get in there lined up. Now we know we've got numbers here. Here comes the Wildcat package.
Wow.
Selling them out strong, and here we go weak.
Like you said, they didn't read it.
No. Hey, they right here they're thinking, all right,
okay,
ball's coming. Nope, out the back door. That's Elijah being a playmaker right there. He recognizes it, came to silence, said, Coach, they can go.
As soon as this guy comes inside, it's over. You're not going to get him.
Yep. Great job there. Okay, so off the same package you saw earlier, you saw the end around, faking the reverse right there, faking the handoff, and earlier Elijah takes it
and throws
it. Now, another wrinkle to that, Geis fakes it, and now he throws it. We hit it right there, I believe Dalton Cook.
And if you look, they got three guys looking for Elijah to get this ball right here and circle up. You can see all three of them.
They're all chasing it, and here we
trouble.
Go. Yep.
When you got 3-on-1, that's good for us.
Hey, and look, compliment to Geis. It's not easy to do it,
double fake.
Yeah. He's turning a 3-6. I'd be dizzy right here. I'd have to tap the helmet.
Look, he threw a fake pump in there.
Yeah.
season getting there.
Oh yeah, great play, great catch, Dalton Cook. And hey, let's never forget the guys that give us time to let the plays get off. Great protection. Look at the offensive line. I mean, right
clean
here,
pocket.
There's nobody.
There's
nobody getting through. That's another just great effort right there. Gives that play time to develop. Neat stuff right there.
Is that Dalton again?
Yep, Dalton Cook again. All right, got the faking the jet sweep to Elijah, trying to run out that extra player. We know we're going to get one-on-one matchups. You're going to one-on-one our receivers. We feel like we like our chances with our receivers versus their DBs. And this is simply just hey, we're going to challenge them. We're going to see what we can get going. Dalton wins the one-on-one matchup, touchdown.
I like how the defensive back faces this way and he throws behind him.
Yep.
I don't know if Coach Brady coaches. I'm sure he does.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to read where to put the ball. That's a big part of the game nowadays. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, you watch the game, so many bright spots, so many things to be proud of. It's just, man, we gotta put it together. We gotta put it together for 4 quarters. We gotta manage our emotions, and we'll be the team that everybody wants us to be.
We gotta make less mistakes than they do for sure.
Exactly.
And then take advantage when they do.
But
you see the flashes, like you said, Gervais.
Gervais or Elijah? Let me see if that's the slot that catches it.
Yeah,
that's Elijah.
Elijah.
Yep. Elijah. Yep.
Sorry, Elijah. I don't want to be like my wife. She gave Gervais all your compliments the other day.
Great play by Elijah.
Yep. Another 2-touchdown day.
Yep.
At least.
Find your players and let them make plays. Yep. Awesome. Might be back to the top. Let's see. This might be the first one. Yep, that's first play. So that's all of them there.
Excellent. So like we said, flashes. It's there, Coach. You see the greatness that's coming out. That'll wrap us up for this week. East Central, Friday night at home. Another home game, the blackout or pink out, whichever you want to call it. Once again, it's been a pleasure, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Yeah, no doubt. Go Bearcats.
Somewhere, right? Go Bearcats.
Yep.
Congratulations to the JV team again.
Yes, sir.
Bearcat Nation would like to thank ABC Pawn and Jewelry, Pineville Road in Long Beach, for sponsoring the Bearcat football program.